And kicking off UFC on ESPN featuring Uriah Hall and Sean Strickland is a great flyweight battle. We were actually supposed to see these guys fight back in May, but Zarrukh Adashev and Ryan Benoit are going to square off, which kind of happened randomly as well, right? Adashev was supposed to fight Juan Camilo Ronderos, but now gets Ryan Benoit as a replacement. So looks like the MMA gods really want us to watch this one. Adashev brings a lot to the table, right? 2018 to 2019, he actually went 3-0 in Bellator, and actually that's what I think got him a nice little stint with the UFC so far. 0-2 in his UFC fights, but a couple of things that I did want to kind of talk about there. You look at the tough fights that he did have. I mean, very long style flyweights. You talk about the Tyson Nam fight. Probably a fight that he would have actually done fairly well if he got his timing down and gauged the range a bit more, but Tyson Nam was able to find that right hook pretty cleanly on what looked to be, I'm not going to say shoddy leg kick, but I mean, he threw the leg kick, classic hands down, and Nam kind of made him pay the price there. But that's not actually the one that you want to talk most with Adashev, because he actually had some success against what I would consider the tougher opponent in Muderji. Muderji's an elite striker by the looks of it right now and is making his way up the flyweight ranks. And in that fight, the second round was where Adashev's looked like the best UFC fighter so far. And how did he do that? He got within the distance. He didn't stay on the outside where he was taking good shots from both Nam and Muderji, and in those areas like fighting for the clinch, getting some good body shots in there. I think that's where he needs to fight. And at one point, you actually see Muderji get rocked. So those are the areas where I think Adashev can have some really good success against a guy like Ryan Benoit. And to be quite honest, Ryan Benoit isn't going to be one of these long strikers. We talk about how he likes to get into those dangerous areas and make fights fun. I think that's what's going to make this one such a great fight. You got a prototypical kickboxer who spent most of his time doing that in Adashev, with a guy like Ryan Benoit who seems to like the wrestling and grinding style, but also wants to just get in there and throw some serious hands with people. And no real size there. And the cool thing about him is before his 25th birthday, the guy beat Sergio Pettis, who's now the Bellator flyweight champion. And that was actually flyweight debut. And he pulled off a huge upset with a beautiful knockout, caught Sergio, just beautifully in that fight. And I think that really set him up, right? He's been on 3 losses in the UFC, but the first of that the 3 losses against Brandon Moreno, who's the current flyweight champion of the UFC. So split decision there on what was a legendary tough card featuring Demetrius Johnson, Tim Elliott. If you guys remember, Tim Elliott won the tough, featuring all these guys to get that title shot. And so that's the birth of the flyweight division. And Ryan Benoit's basically been there since the start. So when you look at this fight, very much a technical battle of what seems to be a kickboxer and a guy who just likes to brawl but has the options to make the fight dirty in the clinch with the takedowns and stuff like that. And you want to talk about keys to winning. I mean, I think Benoit has an underrated wrestling game, 70% takedown defense against some of these quicker guys and some good fighters against him, right? And you talk about how he doesn't really fight that well at distance. So I think that keeping the distance in this case and not getting into those scrappier areas where Adashev seemed to do so well against borderline elite fighter like Muderji, those are the areas I see Benoit having some success. If he's losing the striking battle at a healthy distance and not taking big shots, he can always work that clinch game, get it up against the fence. I think those are the areas he's going to be able to find the most success because, the distance fighting overall is more of just a feel-out phase for him. I think that Adashev's going to have his way. And you talk about keys to winning for Adashev, it's very much that. Move in, get close, attack the body, land big boxing shots. I think that's what he's looking for. He likes the leg kicks. Keep going with that to slow Benoit down. I think that you have to slow Benoit down to eliminate any of those lucky opportunities where you might not be in the best position and boom, takedown, boom, up against the fence, wasting time in the clinch. I just think those are the areas where Adashev just doesn't want to be in a fight where he can finally gauge the distance a bit more without having to fight those fast, longer style flyweights. So outside of that, I think it's going to be a hella fun fight. I think that if Adashev is pretty good with his takedown defense and avoids the wrestling, we're looking at an absolute barn burner between these guys to kick off the card. And that's the best thing about this right now. For me, I'm just really enjoying the fact that the UFC flyweight division is just back and ready to go. I'm just really excited for everything that we will be able to see, for the next year or two and what seems to be one of the more competitive divisions overall. So as we always do, without further ado, let's take a look at these lines, right? We got Ryan Benoit, Zarrukh Adashev. I have to give Ryan Benoit the favorite here. I mean, think about the guys I just spoke about. He's literally fought the Bellator and UFC flyweight champions already. Adashev is a kickboxer with very limited MMA experience, and he's about to take take on a guy who, even in his losses, has just taken on some really tough competition. So, oh, wow, Ryan Benoit coming in as a minus 140. I actually thought he could probably hit that minus 180 range, but I think this is a pretty fair line. We know that Adashev is going to be dangerous on the feet. If he closes the distance and can avoid the takedowns, this could very much be an upset. But with the guys that Benoit's faced, you got to give him that edge. Minus 140 opening, now getting to about a minus 150 in some areas, minus 130 in other places. But Adashev looks to be closing in as more of a pick'em in this fight. And I think it's going to be fun to watch the weigh-ins for some of these bigger guys in the flyweight division who definitely struggled to make that 125. Could spell for a lot of issues come fight night. But I'm excited for that one. I think these guys are absolutely going to throw if the wrestling game just isn't there for them. So stay tuned for that.